When you're applying to dental school, cost, whether you're an international or a domestic applicant, is going to factor in. And depending on the city and what the cost of living is like there, it can be a massive difference in how much the whole thing costs you. For internationals, it can be anything from £22,000 to £50,000 a year, or £55,000 a year even. And that really makes a massive difference in what is available to people. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what we mean by affordable, how the fees work for domestic and international students, and also cost of living, but also give you 5 universities that I suggest as the most affordable ones if cost is a consideration. So this isn't simply about just picking the cheapest university. I'm going to show you our working for how we've factored in which ones are basically the best value for money. And if you're thinking strategically, not just about your university experience, but also your career after that, how we would think about it with price factored in. So let's first talk about the university fee itself. And again, we have 2 camps. We've got the domestic applicants and we've got the international applicants. So from a domestic point of view, when we're looking purely at affordability, it really just comes down to the cost of living in the area, accommodation, how much travel that university requires you to do. For example, when I was at Cardiff, I had to go all the way up to the north of Wales. Sometimes that was a 4 or 5 hour drive. That would mean I needed a car, which is something that I had to factor in. And another thing to bear in mind is how good the financial support is depending on the university and the country as well, and what country you come from. For example, are you a Scottish person in Scotland, a Welsh person in Wales? These things make a difference, and I did an entire student finance video explained if you check out this video here. So when we're talking about affordability, we're going to look obviously at the fees and the cost of living for that city, but also that specific university's access to, say, bursaries and scholarships, and maybe if you're doing a foundation year, how that reduces the real cost over the course of the degree. And just to be crystal clear, the fees do change every year, so think of this more as a framework, and then you need to go away and just double check the things that we've said to make sure that it is still the case that it was at the time that I filmed this. So anyway, let's dive into the 5 universities. Just to clarify how we've selected these, I'll show you our working. We had 3/4 criteria really. So for this video, I've looked at number 1, published international tuition fees for BDS courses for 2024 all the way to 2026 intakes. Number 2, we looked at the data comparison sites that summarize average international fees across dental schools. And thirdly, I've cross-checked that against things like rankings, reputation, and the quality of clinical exposure. And number 4, also thinking about the cost of living for that particular city. So in no particular order, first up, we have Liverpool University, which their course costs for internationals about £40,000 to £50,000 range per year. Of course, for everybody who's a domestic applicant, it is that £9,500-ish per year. Liverpool's BDS program is taught at one of the largest dental hospitals in the UK, with very strong research reputation and heavy clinical exposure starting early in the course. So when we look at things like tuition, comparison sites, and university listings, it puts Liverpool alongside the more premium priced English dental schools. Now, what do you get for that investment? Well, firstly, you get a highly established teaching hospital with a broad patient base. Also, you get a curriculum that's consistently praised for clinical preparedness, and the added benefit of living in a city that's quite happening and fun and more affordable than London despite its high tuition fees. So while Liverpool sits on the pricier end for fees, the clinical training environment and student experience are often highlighted as major strengths, making it a strong contender if budget isn't your primary limitation. Like I say, it's not just about the cheapest, it's about bang for your buck, although I hate that term. Next up, we have the University of Dundee in Scotland. Dundee consistently ranks among the top UK dental programs academically, but comes in at mid to high fee range for international applicants. Dundee Dental School is known for extremely strong student satisfaction, excellent clinical facilities, and its integration with NHS T-side services. Fee-wise, Dundee typically ranges in the £34,000 to £40,000 per year for international students. So what stands out about Dundee? Well, it's very high teaching satisfaction scores, a reputation for producing clinically confident graduates, which is important, and a significantly lower cost of living compared to major English cities. So if you're looking to stay top tier, but for a slightly lower tuition fee and cost of living in the city, Dundee's a pretty good option. Next up, we have Cardiff University, which is my university where I studied medicine. I studied dentistry at King's College London, so both of those universities have a place in my heart. Cardiff's BDS is a 5-year dental degree taught in Welsh-only dental hospitals, and it regularly appears in the top 10 UK rankings for dentistry. Cardiff fees range from £23,700 to about £29,500 per year for international students, which makes it noticeably more affordable than many of the English or Scottish dental schools, which charge in the £40,000 to £55,000 range. The key advantages of Cardiff include that it's a lower tuition band compared to the other dental programs, it's a strong reputation for early hands-on clinical experience, and Cardiff itself offers a more manageable cost of living than the larger English cities. I also know from living there that it's really fun. It's got that perfect university size where it's big enough to have loads going on, but not so big that you feel anonymous and lost in a big city. So it makes it a really good candidate, especially if you want a respected program at a more accessible price point, and Cardiff should absolutely be on your shortlist if that's the case. Next, we're off to Northern Ireland and we have Queen's University Belfast. It's another school frequently highlighted as offering comparatively affordable dental tuition for international students. Queen's runs a well-established BDS program delivered within the Royal Victoria Hospital with strong patient volume and a reputation for excellent pastoral support. For fees, Queen's is in the £32,000 to £38,000 per year range. What makes Queen's appealing is its strong clinical exposure in a major teaching hospital, a warm and supportive student environment, and Belfast being one of the most cost-effective cities for student living. So if you want a reputable course in a big teaching hospital with relatively low fees and a cheap city to live in, then Queen's Belfast might be the one for you. And then finally, we have the University of Plymouth, which is the least expensive when averaged out overall. Plymouth is often cited as one of the UK's most affordable dental schools for international students, depending on their stage of the program. Plymouth's Peninsula Dental School is known for modern facilities, problem-based learning approach, and a community-focused clinical training model. So the tuition varies by year, depending on whether you're pre-clinical, so when you're lecture-based and you're not seeing patients yet, versus when you are seeing patients in the clinic, the fee goes up. So the early years are around £22,000 per year, with later clinical years rising into the £38,000 to £41,000 per year range. What's great about Plymouth is that it has the lowest fees at the point of entry of any UK dental school. It's got a contemporary curriculum with early patient-facing opportunities, and it's a city on the coast that's more affordable as well. So for students who are cost-conscious but still want a modern, well-supported training environment, Plymouth is consistently highlighted as one of the most accessible options. But look, ultimately, this comes down to you, your circumstances, and your personal preference. Not only that, you need to make sure that you get there. It is incredibly competitive. Dentistry has overtaken medicine for its level of competition. So if you would like some help to get there, but also once you're with us, we can help you decide which is the right university for you, both for what you want in terms of to get out of the university, but also strategically which one you're most likely to get into. I'd recommend you join the Future Doc program and do so early, because people so often underestimate how complex and how difficult it is to get into these dental schools. And we will keep you focused and on track, not wasting any time, not being overwhelmed, not making mistakes, doing the things that you shouldn't be to risk and jeopardize your chance of getting in. But what we'll also do is help you see exactly where the bar is for how good you need to be and show you how to maximize your application to get into your chosen dental school. But remember the big picture, it is not just about fees. Affordability isn't just a sticker price on the tuition fee. You also need to look at the cost of living, rent, transport, food, especially if you're comparing, say, London with Cardiff or Belfast. Then we'd look at the course length and the structure. Is it 5 years versus 6 years? Are there foundation years? Are there any years that you have to intercalate? Then there's scholarships and bursaries. Some universities and external organisations offer funding specifically for dental students or for international students. What are the prospects like for graduates from that university? How good is that degree for using it and taking it, say, to another country if that's where you eventually want to end up? Because some universities, for example, might have slightly lower fees, but those graduates from those universities go on to do much better in their career. They might end up earning a lot more money. So, which one is actually more cost effective in the long run? I can tell you from going to King's College London, which at the time was the #1 dental school in the world, and today still is a very high ranking one, that the prospects and the people and the stuff that they end up going on to do seem to be a level slightly higher. It depends how you want to compare it, but in terms of kind of the profile of their career, the earnings, they seem to do better by going to that, although it is an expensive city to live in and also expensive fees. So it is not just a simple what is the cheapest. Of course, if it's the option between I can't go to university at all if it's beyond a certain point, then of course affordability matters. But if we're just trying to scrimp and save on wherever we can, maybe think that there's more to it than just simply how much is the cost to get through each year, because there are other factors that we need to weigh in. So my final things are, don't just look at the cheapest, think of it in the wider context. Do your homework and look at some of these factors that I said and which one suits you. And like I say, if you want to shortcut those things, the Future Doc program can help you understand all of this. We also have some incredible databases that will shortcut all of this for you, so you don't have to worry spending time on all of this. You can just be reassured that you are choosing the right one and work with us to help you understand what you want and just save time so that you can focus on the difficult bit, which is submitting your best possible dental application. So if you want to find out more about the details of that program, you can do that here. Otherwise, check out the rest of the channel for more videos on how to get into dentistry, work experience, UCAT, interviews, everything that you need to submit your best application. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.